Hi everyone, my name is Yasir Parvez and I am gonna talk about my research study in today's video. My research study is on small businesses guide to cloud computing. So basically what I'm trying to do is to compile a small, easy to understand document that could help small businesses to move towards cloud computing. The reason for choosing this topic is to be able to provide that ease for the businesses, because right now there is no easy top easy kind of study for businesses when they are deciding to move towards cloud computing, or when they are trying to study about it. What I found online is very large text, very complicated information, which is good for tech world. But if you ask from a manager's perspective or from a decision making perspective, especially for a small business, for mom and pop shops, there isn't any. So my that's what is the driving force behind creating this study, and along with my passion for information technology and business. So, in this topic, for today's study, I'm going to be talking about what actually is cloud computing. There what types of cloud computing there are, and what are the advantages and the disadvantages, and for which type of businesses it's suitable to go towards cloud computing, and what businesses should not opt for cloud computing in certain scenarios. And also I'm going to be talking about a really interesting topic that I found out while I was researching on um, the guide for cloud computing. That interesting topic is dynamic bandwidth. So I don't know how many of you have heard about it, but for me it was the first time, and I am actually really, really interested in that topic. Um, and I'm going to be talking further in this video about dynamic bandwidth as well. So let's move on. So what is cloud computing? The cloud computing is basically the on-demand resource providing. So for example, when you can get the resources when and where you need them, you and it can be provided to you with the help of the network connection. So in this case, you do not have to have like a physical location. All around the world you can access your cloud and be able to access all the files that you want to access. Over here, we can also talk about uh, why cloud computing is important. Cloud computing is important because you see it in your daily life. Whether you recognize it, whether you realize it or not, but in your everyday life you would see a lot of cloud computing, whether you're watching Netflix, whether you are scrolling through your emails, whether you are going through your social media. All those type of resources are counted in cloud computing, because the you are accessing that application through internet, and the data that you are accessing is actually not physically present in your device or in your laptop, but it's in a cloud, which is which could be anywhere in the world. uh, and cloud computing is becoming really popular nowadays. We can see a lot of cloud computing going on with Amazon AWS, with Microsoft. You can see a lot of Microsoft cloud services like Microsoft Azure. You can also see a lot of these big giant companies, Google, Amazon, Microsoft. They're investing heavily on cloud computing and developing of new applications. Here's a little fun fact for you. 51% of the population in the US thinks that bad weather can affect your cloud connectivity. Well, bad for them, but it's actually not in the clouds, it's in the server. We are going to be talking about the challenges of cloud computing. So the cloud computing network has some challenges as well. So the problem with that is it can be really expensive to turn the cloud platform into your company's platform, or to merge it with the requirements of the company. So the problem is that when you are getting a cloud service from the service provider, they would just give you a bland kind of a theme, but you have to make it in accordance to your business idea or your business plan, what you want to do with it, how is it going to be, how is it going to look, what things you want where. So all that could be really costly. The reliability of the service provider you're not sure about. The service provider, the service can go down at the service provider. Their server can go down, they can have another problem, and that can affect really adversely to your business. And it is located in, it might be located in a completely different continent, so you cannot access that information when you want it. So you would have to wait for the service provider in that case, and there's nothing you can do about it. There could also be a provider lock-in. The provider lock-in concept means that you okay, after you went for the service, you got everything you wanted, you were able to adjust the service provider platform according to your company. You are all set, you're all good, but now you are locked in with that service provider. That means that it's not really easy for you to move to another service provider, because then you have to start all over again. You have to create your new platform, you have to modify the platform, and all those sort of things. So that could be a problem. The service provider can have the leverage over you. There could be also be downtime. So if your service is down, if your internet connection is not working properly, there could be any glitch in your area, that your service is not currently operating. In that case, you could have some real challenge, because then you basically do not have even the basic needs that you want to do your business with. So that could be a problem with for the business. So if your business requires you to have 24/7 computer performance, if you want to have something which is very reliable, which even if something goes wrong, you can just go down there, restart it, reboot it, do whatever you gotta do, then I think that could be a problem for your business. And the data privacy is also one of the major issues that we are facing nowadays, because uh, there are so many regulations coming in. There is HIPAA, there is FERPA, there is so many things that are going on. So if you're in any of those organizations where you have a healthcare business, for example, where you are dealing with a lot of patient data or information, or you have educational institution where you have a record for students, and their performance and their contact information, those sort of things, that could have some legal implications, where you might not be able to move towards cloud computing. Or if you are a credit recording company, where you deal with very sensitive information like social security numbers and things like that, so that could be a problem for you to move towards cloud computing in that case. So another fun fact is that 9%, 95, 94% of the managers say that their business security has improved after adapting to cloud computing applications, which is really good. That 94, it's a big success. Now we are going to be talking about the benefits of the cloud. So I am going to be talking about from the perspective of a small business. You know, when you have a small business or you are planning to start a small business, you do not have abundance of resources. You might not have all that is provided to a multinational corporation or to a big company. So you need the elasticity to scale up or to scale down, or to have the resources on demand where you can pay for it when you're not using a lot of service, and you can pay more once your business has started growing and you are having more customers. So that is, I think, one of the biggest blessing in cloud computing. So you don't have to get new servers, you don't have to get new hardware, you don't have to spend tons of money on those things. You are just going to be worrying about how to manage your business, how to give the best customer service and things like that, where the cloud service provider is going to be taking care of your needs. So here basically, if it's a Christmas season and you have a small retail store, and you have a really high sales and you're selling online, then your service provider, you can increase the service, and your service provider will be very happy to increase your service while charging you a little more money. But if it's a down season, there are not many customers, then you could bump your service down, where it's not going to be costing you a lot of money. um, in addition to that, there is reduced IT expertise needed. So if you are a small business and you have limited resources, you can opt in for cloud computing and not have to worry about software engineers and hardware engineers and network experts and things like that. You could just have a small laptop or a small machine, which is not, it doesn't have to be really powerful, because you are going to be accessing the applications and everything through cloud anyways. So it doesn't have to be installed on your computer. So you don't have to worry about really costly, really high priced equipment. You can just go for small equipment and you can start your business. There is less service that is needed, and basically, and even if you need some kind of help, you can always call their helpline and ask for the service provider to provide you with any kind of help that is needed. There is a fast access to resource and applications that the company needs. So you don't have to again, you don't have to worry about all these equipments and things like that. You can just download the application, pay for it, and there you go, you are all set to go. There is not much investment into building an infrastructure within your company, or to build servers and have a server room, and trying to keep it cool, make it temperature controlled, pay for its security and things like that. You don't have to worry about those things. You can just have a cloud service where they're going to be providing you with all those services, and you don't have to worry about it. So basically, it is eliminating the local IT staff for you, and you are going to be working on these things yourself. Um, Cloud computing is fairly simple, where you do not need a lot of technical information. In case you are having problems, in case you're needing some assistance, you can always go ahead, call the service provider, and they're going to be happy to provide you with all the help that you need. Now I'm going to be talking about the cloud computing network. So this is basically the connection, the internet connection that is going from your office or your small business towards the cloud. So definitely you need an internet connection to connect your small laptop to the cloud. For that, um, So cloud computing application will be as good as your internet connection. So if you are watching, in this example, I would ask you to think about if you're watching YouTube. So no matter how good the video quality is, no matter how well the video is made, no matter how good everything is, but if you do not have a good connection, internet connection, then the video is going to be blurred. You might be seeing a lot of the circles in between the video, where the video is buffering and things like that. So that is the same kind of issues that you could face if you are working with a cloud computing. So you have to have like a good internet connection. And many large network operators lack the ability to deliver bandwidth on demand to customers. So this is the topic that I was telling you about when I began this presentation. So the bandwidth on demand is a fairly new concept, and what it means is that, so for example, you got your internet connection is 20 megabytes per second speed, and you got that service for your business. It's a fairly small business, it's a mom and pop shop, and well, here comes the Christmas season and Black Friday and things like that, and you are having a lot of customers. All of them are trying to connect to the Wi-Fi. They need a lot of speed. So now what you're gonna do? I mean, that's a problem. So bandwidth on demand is a service that provides you bandwidth when you need more bandwidth. It's gonna automatically increase your bandwidth. So, for example, you got 20 Mbps of bandwidth when you got the connection, but you opted in for dynamic bandwidth. So now what's going to happen is that your speed is going to increase to whatever your current requirement is, and you can have a really smooth transition. Your customers are going to be happy, you're going to be happy on the long run, and everything is going to go smooth. But if you do not have that kind of a service, now you are stuck with 20 megabytes per second and you have 50 customers who are on your Wi-Fi. That could be a problem. The internet connection is going to be really slow, and they're going to be not very happy about it. Your computer might not be working properly if you're using credit card. If you're charging through credit cards, they might not go through, because they are basically connected to the network. So bandwidth on demand is a fairly new concept, and I think it's a really, really interesting concept. And there is also the data security issue. So the problem is that your business is connected through internet to the cloud service. So now the information is going from your computer to the internet, and then to the cloud service provider and to their basically their servers. So in between, there could be some people who are having malicious intent, and they could try to break into your connection and try to figure out what kind of traffic is going through the network, and what are you trying to send. So it might have some data security issue. It is a fairly big issue, but it's not like there aren't solutions for it, or if there aren't any precautions for it. There are definitely a lot of ways you could avoid that, but I'll be talking about that in my paper. So fun facts again, 90% of Microsoft's research and development budget is being used to improve cloud technology and security services. So see, this tells you how important cloud security is, that even Microsoft is investing 90% of the research and development budget on this. So that is the future, and I hope that you guys are going to be liking this presentation. Um, there are also some small things that you could do in order to avoid the problems for the network connection, and that are, have a vendor who is who is maintaining your data in a secure infrastructure with SAS 70 or 2 certification. So this means that there is a certification or a standard into which they are operating. So if they are in that kind of a standard, then you could definitely go and check it out. uh, and also the dynamic bandwidth providing capacity, if you can get that, that would be really good. And I think more and more service providers, internet service providers, are going to be moving towards dynamic bandwidth um, service soon. And the last fun fact for us today is 56% of the organization are seeking to hire staff with cloud computing expertise. So if you are a student, you are wanting to learn about cloud services, I think you have a pretty good marketplace for employment out there. Thank you so much, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Have a good day.